What's going on YouTube? Jake with the Garbroaders back with another awesome Minecraft YouTube video. Today we're doing something pretty unconventional and new. Um, Anybody who's kept up with the vlogs in the past, you've probably realized that Smash Bros, especially competitive Smash Bros, has become kind of like a mainstay in what we do here now, and I really care about it. So in addition to our normal vlog content, this is something that I'm really passionate about and I want to start doing. I hope you guys like this because we're going to be going over S Factor 12, the upcoming S plus tier super major happening in Mexico next weekend. I'm going to be going through the bracket here and kind of just like, I don't know, giving my thoughts, my predictions, going over different matchups and stuff, talking about upsets. It's going to be really, really cool. Hope you guys stick it out. If you like this, I'm going to do it for more tournaments, probably Supernova next. And if you don't like it, I'm still going to do it for upcoming tournaments with Supernova next. Uh, Inspiration for this, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Proof Block is the name of the YouTube channel that I watch that does similar videos to this. It's really cool. I'll have his link in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get started. To start here, we're going to look at the projected top 8 seeds. I have the actual bracket up right now, and I just went to like the top 8, projected it all the way up. So if everything plays out exactly as seeding, we'll see in the winner side top 4 we have Hurt and Sonics, with Hurt being the projected first seed of the entire event, Mia in second. Third place we have Spargo, fourth Sonics, fifth place Raru and Onin, and seventh place MK Leo and Shiny Mark. So these are going to be the projected top 8 seeds of everything. We're going to go back to top 64 is pretty much we're going to pick this up, and we'll follow each of their bracket paths to see how it leads to top 8, if they make top 8 at all, and go from there. All right, so to get started here in with our first seed of the entire event, Hurt, we're going to look at his bracket path leading up to the top 8 qualifier round. In the first round here, he's going to be fighting Mao. I know he is a Ryu player from Mexico, pretty respectable player, but they've never played against each other head-to-head before. I took a look at Hurt's matchup spread against Asimo, figured that'd be relevant since it's the same character matchup, and Hurt pretty much always wins against Asimo. I think he's won the last 4 sets that they've played. I don't think this one will be very close. Hurt's going to go ahead and take the W here. And then I have a feeling that Siski's going to take the W over Neo as well, which will lead into Hurt and Siski playing against each other. These two have also never played. Siski actually is pretty strong against um, the snakes in his area that he's played against. Most notably, I know that he's won the last 3 sets he's played against Apollo Kage. There's a big jump between Hurt and AK though, so even with that matchup experience, I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. Hurt is going to probably just take the easy win right there, and then he'll be moving into the winners quarterfinals qualifier match to see if he makes top 8 winner side. Next on the agenda, we have my rock, my goat, my beloved, the absolute demon, best player in the world, MK Leo. And we're going to follow his bracket path to see how his top 8 qualifier looks. So in the first round, he's playing against a random, not going to be close. Goat wins those. And then in the following round, he plays against Syrup. Now, this is already a pretty interesting matchup, a little up in the air, I'm not going to lie. It's no secret that Leo has a Steve problem. He always has. He's been working on it, and you can see that there's different, every tournament looks a little different. Sometimes he looks like he's about to figure it out, and then sometimes he looks lost, unfortunately. The last time these two played against each other, we did see Leo go Byleth and Pyramithra. Syrup was able to take it down. I hope we don't see Byleth. I'm ready for Byleth to kind of go away. Leo has been on the come up lately, though. He clearly has been playing well. He's figuring things out. We saw him just take down Her and Shuton at Gommel very, very recently. 2 people that he's never taken a set off of. Syrup's another person, 0-1 lifetime. They've only played that 1 set. Really interested to see who Leo goes in this set. I have a feeling it's going to be Pyramithra. We've seen specifically Leo has been playing a lot of Pyramithra against a lot of his opponents. Not necessarily just against Steve, but in his last few attempts against like Onin and things like that, we've seen him go Aegis, and it's so close. But with the momentum that Leo has and the slump that Syrup's currently on, I'm confident that we are going to see Leo take this Steve down and make every single person ever very happy. And then in the winner quarterfinal set, we're going to see the rematch between Hurt and MKLeo. Like I just said, Gammel, they had an insane Game 5 set where Leo was able to take the upset and make it happen. When it was so amazing. I love watching that set. And then previously, their other encounter was also a last hit Game 5 set when Leo went to Japan and Hurt was able to take that one. So they're currently 1-1 against each other. I think this set is going to be a banger. It's going to be so fun to watch. I cannot wait. Um, but I'm not going to lie. Leo wins those. He got the download on Hurt. He clearly knows what he's doing. He's always been amazing against Snake. Uh, I think Hurt got his ego hurt just a little bit, last time when Goat beat him, and he's not going to lose again. I hope it goes to Game 5 again, but honestly, I don't even think it's going to go to Game 5. Leo's going to win this in 4 games. Trust the process. MK Leo making the upset here, moving on to winner's side, top 8. Shifting down just a little bit, the next player we're going to talk about is Sonics. Let's see, where's he at? Right here against Chag. He's pretty easy to predict. He's someone that kind of just doesn't get upset. He doesn't lose to people that he's not, like, quote unquote supposed to lose against. First, he's fighting against Chag. I think it's going to be a 3-0. Next, he fights Meister. I think that's also going to be a 3-0. So pretty easy path to make it to winner's quarterfinal qualifier here for top 8. And then his projected opponent is going to be Raru. Now, Raru here is going to start by playing against Lemon. I know I looked at his record against like Goryoka and some of the other Joker players that Raru plays against in his area. Besides Leo, he's pretty good against Joker. I don't see an upset happening right here, but that would be really awesome because I like Joker. But I do think Raru's going to take the win right there, and he'll proceed to play against Ouch. This could honestly go either way. Ouch is like randomly just has these tournaments where he decides he wants to play like the best player in the room. So he's really hit or miss. On any given day, you can see Ouch make it all the way to top 8 pretty easily, beating like all of the people that he's supposed to lose against. So I think this will be an interesting set to watch. They've never played against each other, to my knowledge, but I do believe that Raru is going to take the win here, but it will be pretty close moving on to fight Sonics. And then when these two play against each other, I think this is going to be the most like belt to ass set of the entire tournament. I'm not going to lie. Sonics just doesn't lose to cheese. It doesn't happen ever. We saw these two play at Supernova last year, and it was like the easiest 3-0 set for Sonics ever. It was the most one-sided thing ever. There was that little complication with Raru's controller. Sonics was a G though, let him plug it back in, didn't take the stock, and then immediately got like upbeat at 40 or something and died. But it didn't even matter because Sonics just took the win anyway, and I think that's exactly what is going to happen here again. I think Sonics is going to 3-0 all of these and make winner side top 8. And if we shift things down just a little bit more, the next player we're going to take a look at is Mia. Mia has been just given amazing matchups leading into top 8 for him. Pretty good. He fights Mario into Snake into Pikachu, which is just like a wet dream for Mr. Game & Watch. Uh, he's going to feast, I think. So he's definitely going to make it up here, winner side, qualifier round. On the other side of things, though, things get very, very interesting. So we're probably going to see these two matches play out the way that they're seated, and then it's going to be Shiny Mark versus Light. Now, these two are awesome. They played very recently. I want to say it was at either Comic Palooza or I think it was Comic Palooza. It was a Game 5 set, last stock, last hit, and Shiny Mark was able to take it down. It was so close, though. Light was coming back. Fun to watch, but unfortunately, he died of some dash attack or something off stage. It was really annoying. But I think this is going to be another banger set. Potential for set of the tournament right here. Light has been on a slump. He clearly, if you listen to his podcast and things like that, you know that he's not satisfied with how his last few events have been going. And I think he is coming into this event hungry. He has something to prove. He wants to set things up, take a major down in preparation for Supernova that is just around the corner. And honestly, this is going to be my first major upset. And I wouldn't say major upset, but this is going to be another big upset that happens right here. I have Light taking it over Shiny Mark and moving on to fight Mia himself instead of Shiny Mark. That's going to be really awesome. And then once we move on to Mia versus Light here, it stays interesting. Regardless of who Mia plays against, character-wise, he's like guaranteed to have a good matchup. Game and Watch is really good against Pikachu and Fox. However, Light and Mia have a really interesting set history. They're 4-4 lifetime against each other, with Light taking their most recent encounter at Luminosity Makes Moves Miami. This will hopefully be another great set. Like I said, the matchup is pretty bad for Fox, but I think Light's going to have momentum. He's going to be fresh off this win against Shiny Mark, and I think he is going to take it down. Mia has a history of kind of faltering once he's playing in events outside of Japan, and this is outside of Japan. Light's going to have that momentum. Mia is going to have his classic fumble, and Light is going to be moving on to winner side top 8, beating Mia right here. I'm calling it now. And then for our last winner side top 8 path here, we're going to be looking at Spargo. Spargo is just that guy right now. He's clearly playing like the best player in the entire world. Doesn't matter what character he's playing. You've seen him do it with Piranha Plant, Corrin, Roy, Cloud. It just doesn't matter. He's going to beat Mr. E. He's going to beat Big Boss. And then he's going to be waiting right here in the winners qualifier round for top 8. And then if we look at his potential opponent, we're looking at either Onin or Gluttony. Now this set could really go either way. Onin has been on fire, playing just amazing Smash as well. As much as I don't like Steve, it is pretty impressive. And I think Onin, unfortunately, is probably going to get the dub over Gluto. We've seen Gluto do it though. Never sleep on him. He's goated. But with the kind of steam that Onin has at the moment and their last few encounters going Onin's way, I think it's probably just going to go in Onin's favor again. But regardless of who wins right here, even if it is Gluto, I think Spargo is just going to take the dub again. Spargo's that guy right now, and I don't see a world where he is not in this last winner's spot for top 8. Moving down into the loser's side here, we have quite the jungle of matches. There's so many potential upsets for loser side top 64 that I could not even begin to go over all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much just going to pan up to my projected qualifier games and give you my thoughts on them. So in the first one here, we're going to be looking at Ouch playing against Mia, because we saw Light upset Mia earlier, and I think this is going to be a very, very interesting set. Ouch is 3-0 lifetime against Mia. Pretty interesting, right? And I think it's going to turn into 4-0 after this weekend. Ouch just is that guy. He is able to make magic happen when it matters most. And like I said earlier, Mia does struggle when he comes out of Japan, and I think this is going to be another instance of that. Every time I've seen them play, Mia just looks lost. I don't know what his game plan is against Wolf, or if it's an Ouch problem, but regardless, I think Ouch is going to pull it out right here and move on, making the upset over Mia. And the next set, we're going to be looking at Onin versus Syrup, just like seeded. This one could go either way. Steve Dittos are annoying. I'm not sure if we're going to see Syrup pull out the Ness or not. It's probably just going to be a Steve Ditto. And I am not going to watch this one because that will be boring. But Onin is on fire. Clearly is just playing probably the best match of their life. Syrup, on the other hand, had a really hot start to his season, but then as things has progressed, he's kind of fallen off just a little bit, unfortunately. Syrup is definitely the more entertaining Steve to watch if I had to pick one. I'm rooting for Syrup here for sure, but I do think Onin is going to get the win and move on to loser's side top 8. In our third set down here, we're going to be looking at Hurt against Gluttony. These two have a record that is pretty much all in Hurt's favor. This matchup seems painful for Wario if I had to just like vision it. I don't know what Wario is supposed to do against someone like Snake. However, Gluto has that dog in him. He is like one of the GOATs when it comes to making upsets in this game, regardless of how bad things seem. You remember that one set from whatever that tournament was against Ken? Yeah, that one. If he can do that, he can do anything. So I would not be surprised at all if Gluto makes it happen, but it's one thing that sends Hurt down to the losers bracket, is another thing to just take him out of the tournament completely, and I just don't see a world where Hurt is not in the top 8 of this bracket as the first seed. So unfortunately for Gluto, I do have Hurt moving on. And then in the last set here, we're going to be looking at Raru against Shiny Mark. This will be pretty interesting as well. These two have never played against each other. Shiny Mark plays against Luigi's all the time. He's like an online warrior. He's played against pretty much every other top Luigi and has winning records against all of them. With Raru, on the other hand, there's just like not any Pikachus in Japan. I don't know what it is. It seems like Japan doesn't believe in Pikachu at all. They just don't take him seriously. They don't even think he's a good character, versus like the rest of the world all thinks he's like top 10 or whatever. This should hopefully be good, but considering how much matchup experience Shiny Mark has, I do think that's going to be kind of the deciding factor here, and I do have Shiny Mark taking the win over Raru, eliminating him from the tournament. And with that, that's going to bring us to top 8 of the tournament. I found this cool bracket template on Twitter. Their tag was memorization, I think. I'm going to leave the link to their page in the description. Shout out to you. Let's get into it. So we're going to start here at the bottom in the loser side with Hurt against Shiny Mark. This is going to be another pretty interesting set. These two also have never played against each other, and for the most part, neither of them have great matchup experience against each other at all. Shiny Mark is, like I mentioned before, an online warrior. He's played against Alendis a few times. Pretty much all of them have been online though, and Alendis is a far cry away from Hurt when it comes to technical skill with that character. This could really go either way. This matchup seems super weird as well. In my head, I want to say it seems like the kind of thing that Pikachu would be pretty decent at. He can go up high, he can deal with all of the stuff. He's fast. He can just jolt around the stage. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but I do think this will be pretty interesting. Uh, but if I had to call it, just given the lack of information on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and call it, say Hurt gets the W. I think Shiny Mark is the defending champ of this tournament. Don't think it's going to matter. I have Hurt moving on to the next round here. Next up, we're going to be looking at Ouch against Onin. Like I said earlier, history repeats itself. Ouch doesn't lose to Steve. He's never lost to Onin. I know I said Onin was on a tear, but Ouch is in like the big three of people I think of when I think of someone who's good against Steve. You have Spargo, you have Sonics, and you have Ouch. This is going to go in Ouch's favor again, making quite the run. I just don't see it happening. Wolf versus Steve. Wolf actually just has the tools to deal with Steve, and it's super satisfying to say that because like no other characters do. And Ouch clearly has a game plan that is tested. It works. He's beaten a Cola. He can beat all of them, okay? Ouch is getting the win right here. Moving up to our winner side, we're going to see Light play against Spargo. This is going to be a banger set. There's so many things that are going to be put into play right here. The last time they played against each other, we saw Light become the first ever victim, the first ever high level victim of the Spargo Piranha plant. And that was pretty insane at the time. Since then, we've saw Spargo's plant go and take down Leo, Sonics, and a bunch of other nameless individuals. But it is pretty wild what Spargo's able to do. Like I mentioned earlier as well, Light he's hungry for this win. He really wants it. He's already made an upset to make it to this point, but I do think his winner's run ends at the hands of Spargo. Spargo is just on another level right now. It took him a little bit of time this season to kind of get warmed up, but right now, if the season were to end based on purely current like gameplay for the rankings, I think Spargo would just be number one. He's playing the hottest Smash of his life right now. It doesn't matter what character he's playing, and I do think he's going to get the win over Light in this set. And then for our last set in the winner side top 8, we're going to see my hero versus my enemy, MK Leo versus Sonics. These two have not played in quite some time, and their last few encounters have all been in Sonics' favor. Unfortunately, this matchup sucks for Joker. Sonic is just like one of the worst characters the Joker could possibly play against. And his secondary Aegis, who is like decent against Sonic, that's kind of just like the rule with Sonics is you're not allowed to play Aegis against him because he's just like the best Aegis opponent in the entire world for some reason. So that is kind of a strategy that's thrown out the window as well. When these two play, I know Leo has been putting in the practice for Sonics and they've just never really had the opportunity to try to like fight each other again. Even with the practice though, I do think that Leo's probably going to go Joker here, and I think Sonics is going to go up 2-0. It's going to be really annoying. And then we have one of two things that could happen right here. Either he sticks it out with the Joker and probably just gets 3-0'd, all good, or we see him switch to the Rob. Now, we did just see the Rob pulled out at what's it called? Whatever tournament just happened that Spargo won with Plant. Blink Respawn, that's what it's called. We saw the random Rob come out against Shiny Mark, and it was actually looking crisp. He didn't end up winning with Rob, unfortunately, but we did see a glimpse into something magical. Rob actually has the tools to deal with Sonic, and if he pulls it out right here, which I think he will, there's a chance of even more magic happening. Overall, I do think Sonics is probably going to win this set here in winner's side, but my prediction here is that Leo's going to go down 0-2 with Joker, switch to Rob, take a game, and then lose game 4, losing with a 3-1 record. And Sonics will move on here. However, Goat's going to be back. Moving back down to the loser side, we have MK Leo again, rematching Hurt for the second time this tournament. And this is when Leo's going to put the nail in the coffin, okay? They're already 1-1 going into this event. 2-1 after Leo beats him on winner's side. He's going to have all the momentum. He has Hurt figured out. It's not even going to be close. I'm predicting it now. 3-0 MK Leo. There's no way it's going to go the other way, okay? So Leo's going to have 3-1 record lifetime over Hurt. It's going to be amazing. I just think he knows what to do now. I hope it's good, though. I hope it's a competitive set. I really like watching these two play against each other. But yeah, Hurt's not winning this. He's out, and that's the last Japanese representative to leave the tournament. Next up, we have Light versus Ouch. This is another set that I think has the potential to be like set of the tournament. This is going to be super, super entertaining. Uh, they are 1-1 against each other lifetime. They've not played against each other recently at all. And it's going to be crazy. Both of them are just like the most aggressive players ever. They're going to be firing on all cylinders. This character matchup is super sick too. I think this is the closest match to like a coin flip of pretty much any one that I've gone over so far. But Light has that dog in him right now. He has the momentum. He has the hunger. I think he just wants it more than Ouch. And I do think it's going to be close, but Light is going to prevail and move on in the bracket. Moving up to winner's side, this is going to be short and sweet. Sonic, Spargo. Who else would you expect to be fighting against each other in winners finals of this tournament? This is just like the duo of Smash right now. But unfortunately, Spargo kind of just like little bros Sonics every single time they play. There's like no world where Sonics beats Spargo right here. It doesn't matter who Spargo's playing. It's just, you just see Sonics like give up every time. Like, I know he puts in the practice. Sonics probably practices harder than like any player in this game. But for some reason, when it comes to Spargo, there's just like nothing he can do. And I don't see that changing here at S Factor 12. In loser semis here, we got Light versus MK Leo. This is going to be another fantastic set. These two were 8-8 lifetime, with Light taking their last few sets in a row. The last time they did play against each other, though, was at the Throne. You saw Leo attempt to play Byleth in their second set at that tournament. I want to say Light double eliminated Leo at that tournament, unfortunately. But, you know, the Byleth, it's gone. We saw it play against Plant, and I hope that's the last time we see it. He's not going Byleth this time. He's going to play Joker. It's going to be amazing. Light just lost against Omega twice at MomoCon. And, you know, Goat's Joker is obviously better than Omega's Joker, okay? Now, there's one thing you can say about both these players. Depending on who you are, there is an argument that both of them are currently on a slump of some kind. They're not playing up to their standard. But if you had to look at it realistically, I know I kind of sound like a Leo meat rider right now. I don't care. I don't care at all. Leo is playing hot. Light has not proved that he's out of his slump just yet. And for that reason, I have the GOAT MK Leo taking this one down as well over Light, moving on to losers finals. In losers finals, we see yet another rematch between Leo and Sonics. We just did see Sonics eliminate Leo from the winner side earlier in the tournament, but here is where things change. Leo gets the download again. It's going to be so easy, belt to ass. MK Leo is going to beat Sonics 3-0. Nobody beats my GOAT 6 sets in a row. And Sonics is surely no exception to the rule. He's going to figure it out. He's going to do it with Joker. He's going to do it with Rob. I don't even care. He can do it with Byleth. If he wants to play the Byleth right here, he can play it with Byleth. But Leo is going to beat Sonics even if he has to play random. It's going to be so amazing. And that's going to bring us to grand finals, the matchup you've all been waiting for. I want these two in grand finals so bad, and I think this is the tournament where it's finally gonna happen. The GOAT of history versus the GOAT of today. It's gonna be fantastic. These two are some of the most back and forth players we've seen in the history of the game. Leo won pretty much every set they played early in Ultimate, and then there's a long streak where Spargo kind of caught up. And then most recently, we've seen them go truly back and forth, with Spargo taking their last encounter and Blink respawn with Plant. But this isn't going to be no messing around, okay? We're going to see Joker or Aegis versus Cloud the entire way through. I'm predicting a Game 10 set, okay? Leo is going to win the first set of Grand Finals. They're going to move on to the Grand Finals reset. It's going to go to Game 10. The crowd is going to be on fire. And then we're going to see the GOAT of history in peak cinema fashion have his storybook ending and beat Spargo Game 10. MK Leo wins Smash Factor 12. Round of applause. It's going to be beautiful. And that's how this tournament's going to end. Perfect storybook ending, like I said. I can't wait to see it happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun to make. I like going through and doing my analysis. Completely non-biased information. I know Smash and I know exactly how this is going to go. If there's a way to bet on it, I would tell you to bet on it. MK Leo's taking it down. Good luck to everybody at Smash Factor, except if your name is anything other than Leonardo Lopez. I'll see you guys next time.